If you struggle with your timing and counting while you play piano, this video will help make your practice less frustrating. What sets apart a pro-sounding piano player from someone who sounds amateurish? You tell me, which of these two players sounds better? The first player is better because they were doing something more advanced and fancy, right? No. I would much rather listen to player 2 play. Player 1's timing was all over the place. I don't care that he could play fast arpeggios. Without a steady beat, it sounds amateurish and bad. The second player sounded way more pro, even though he was playing something much simpler because he was great at keeping time, the mark of a good musician. A player who has excellent timing and feel can play really simple stuff and have it sound awesome. Fast and fancy rhythms can be cool too, but you gotta build it on that steady foundation. It's all about the pulse. The pulse is the heartbeat of the music, and when a player is feeling the pulse and playing to it, the audience feels it too. They nod their head along with it and then say, "That was great." To get there, you gotta count, and you gotta count steady. And those are two different components of this skill that I'm going to help you with today. So it all starts with counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, many people find counting when they're trying to play something frustrating and like it trips them up. Some just give up on it, dooming themselves to sounding like an amateur no matter how advanced the music they play becomes. There are simple ways to reduce that frustration that I'm going to share, but first off, why is counting so important? Can't you just get good at playing with a metronome so you can keep a steady beat and ignore the numbers? As you might know, time signatures tell us how many beats or counts are in each measure of a song. So in 4/4 time, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. In 3/4 time, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Changes in music tend to line up with the measures, so if you're not keeping track of the counts, you're likely to stay on a chord too long or not long enough. But there's a subtler reason that has to do with the pro player's feel that I mentioned. Notice how I didn't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Within a time signature, there are typically strong beats and weak beats. In 4/4 and 3/4 time, usually the first count gets the stronger accent. 6/8 time actually has a strong beat on 1 and a medium strong beat on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why 6/8 feels different than just a fast 3/4 time. But when a good player is keyed into this, the strong and weak beats will naturally come out in their playing, making the music more interesting and easier for the ear to make sense of. So measures aren't just how we keep things organized on a piece of sheet music, they really affect how we feel the music itself. And of course, the numbers are also important for communicating if you're playing in a band. If the drummer says, "Let's all hit together on beat 4, you should know where that is. But you also don't want to be super distracted trying to count all the time, especially if you're trying to play and sing. This video was inspired by an email I recently got from a Piano Chord Breakthroughs member saying that they were having some trouble with this. They asked, "Does it ever become subconscious? Because it feels like a burden to count while I play." So it made me reflect on this, and I wrote back that yes, with effective practice, it does become subconscious. And there are 4 steps to get there. The first step is counting out loud while you play, very slowly at first. And don't do this with the hardest song you're working on. Do it with something really easy, or even a scale or a finger exercise. I'll just do a simple chord progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Meanwhile, you're feeling it in your body. That part is really important. So you're speaking, really connecting with those numbers out loud, 2, 3, 4, but also feeling it physically. Tapping your foot is a great way to do that, though some people struggle with that at first, so at least nodding your head or swaying. And you want to slightly accentuate those strong beats, 3, 4, 1, 2. So your body is also keeping track of the measures passing. And you should be counting as well. I'm not counting because I'm talking, but 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first step. Then step 2 is counting under your breath while you play. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just pulling it inside a little bit and still feeling that pulse while you play. And you might spend a while, maybe even a few weeks at each of these steps. Just be patient with yourself. The third step is to pull it all the way inside and count in your head. So there's a voice in my head going 1, 2, 3, 4. And all the while I'm feeling it in my body, but I'm not making a sound with my mouth. But then if you get really good at that, it's not a big leap to make it to step 4, where you're feeling the pulse in your body, but not actively counting. And that's the way I play, and that's what this email exchange made me realize. That no, I'm not always counting and thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm just feeling it with the pulse, and that's kind of on autopilot. But if you've practiced through these 4 steps, you intuitively keep track of it to where at any point you could stop and think, okay, 3, 4. But there's not numbers constantly going through your head, which frees up some brain space, especially for singing. Real quick, if you are enjoying this video and you are not subscribed to my channel already, please do subscribe and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. Now, of course, counting is one thing, but if it's not steady, if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not going to translate into pro sounding playing. This is where metronomes are our friend. Incorporating playing to the beat of a metronome with any of this counting work really supercharges it and instills that steadiness. You can use a physical metronome like this one, which can be nice, but it can also just be an app on your phone. I like Pro Metronome, but there are a ton of good options. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. In fact, if you just do a Google search for metronome, a simple metronome tool pops right up. If you're struggling to play along with a metronome, you're probably trying it too fast, or you're trying it with something that is just more difficult than you are ready to play with a metronome. Just like with counting out loud, if you're not used to playing with a metronome, it can take a lot of brain power at first just to stay with it. So go slow and easy. And like with the counting, with practice it becomes automatic, and you'll be able to lock in with the metronome with even the hardest stuff you play. So yes, lots of practice, but I do have an important tip for all this practice. This applies to the metronome, it applies to the counting, it even applies to getting used to tapping your foot while you play. Basically, any new good habit you're trying to work into your playing but is tripping you up. Often when people decide, okay, my next goal is to play with a metronome, they'll try to play along with the metronome the whole time they practice. The metronome can be frustrating and distracting at first. If all your practice time is frustrating, pretty soon you'll dread those practice sessions and just start showing up to your piano less. So maybe just have a focused segment of your practice be for the metronome and counting work, something easy. And then put it to the side and play a song you like to play without worrying about it. It's okay, like you have to have fun if you're going to stick with this. Over time, the compartmentalized work you do with the good habits will find its way into all of your playing. And speaking of metronome practice, if you want more structure and guidance on what to play while you practice your pulse, my course Piano Chord Breakthroughs is full of exercises and patterns and songs to get into your muscle memory. Each one comes with a starting and target goal metronome setting to guide you on your journey. So check that out using the link in the description. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what challenges you're coming up against in your piano practice. I'm always looking for more topics to explore here. Let's keep making piano fun. I will see you in the next video. Have an awesome day.